Hello world. For the past weeks I've only been able to sleep around 5.5 hours per night, and it is starting to weigh on me. I have to go to Lisbon now though, so off we go.
O primeiro que eu experimentei destas cenas. Já está?
Já está. Olá vlog, fiz o meu cérebro segurar na câmara por mim hoje, mas como podem ver estamos aqui em Roma. Hello there friends, beautiful afternoon. I was ruminating on some silly thoughts at home, and so I decided, hey, let me get myself outside, have my daily smoke, try to reflect on some of these things and see if I reach any conclusions or just take myself away from the place where I was not feeling super good and just breathe a little bit, you know, enjoy, appreciate. But I was just having a lot of what I call unproductive why questions. Why am I feeling this way? Why haven't I achieved this yet? Why am I so bad at this and that? And it just comes from my inner talk with myself, which I know is not very good. I always have had very negative self-talk, and that was actually a funny thing to do a couple of years ago. Like, self-deprecating humor was on the rise and everyone was like, haha, I'm so stupid, and that was a funny thing to do, you know. I was validated in thinking that that was a normal thing and a normal way for me to think about myself. But the more I kind of reflected on it, the more I understood it's not leading me anywhere. And more than that, it's not just not leading me anywhere, but it's probably a defense mechanism of sorts. As in, like, if I say the bad thing about myself first, then if someone else says it after, it doesn't hurt, because I already said it, I already acknowledged it. What kind of way of going about things is this? This is not how I want to do it. And so instead of just being at home, I've been editing all day. I decided to take a break, come outside and enjoy, because it's such a beautiful day. It was a little bit more windy in the morning, but now things have kind of calmed down. It's a Friday afternoon. It's sort of quiet and calm. There's still people going around. There's pigeons and there's birds and there's the rustling of the leaves. You know, I feel like trying to get to the cause of why am I feeling like this? Why haven't I done this and that? Maybe I should instead be, you know, accepting, okay, I'm feeling this way because I'm a human. Humans have hormonal fluctuations and fluctuations in humor. It's normal, and some days don't go as well as other days, and that is perfectly fine. Let's move on from that point. And then, why haven't I achieved this? Why am I not good at this? If there's something I'm not good at and I want to be, then instead of asking myself why I'm not good at it, then why not take that time to take steps in order to learn whatever I want to learn, or to get to where I want to get, you know? It's just, I have this pattern of just overthinking things so much that sometimes I get paralyzed and I don't do the things that would actually help me. I'm just really trying to learn that this constant overthinking and trying to over-explain to myself all of these things that I'm thinking is not really leading me anywhere. I feel like there's a certain degree of thinking about things that is helpful and healthy, you know, but past a certain point it is not anymore. And I feel like I've not really yet gathered the understanding that I need to be able to understand where that line is, but you know, we live and we learn. I say this a lot of times, but I really believe that getting out of the house really helps better your energy, because in my vision of things, my energy when I'm at home is just stuck between the walls and the ceiling and the floor. But if I come outside, I can let my energy out in the world and receive different energy and like positive energy from nature and all of that. If you can take 10 minutes to go on a walk, let your energy out to receive something new. Breathe, you know, because sometimes I run out of breath from thinking. I'm thinking so much inside of my brain, and I'm so locked in inside of my overthinking that I start holding my breath, and then I realize that I'm like, I need to take a deep breath, and I'm not even doing anything. I'm standing in the same place just overthinking, but it's taking my breath away, you know? No, 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 no. Time to go outside and stop all of this. I'm glad I got to come out here for a little bit. I'm definitely feeling better. My issues or problems are not feeling as the end of the world-ish as they were feeling half an hour ago, and they're not. It may feel like it in your head because you start thinking of all of these things that may happen, but there's no point in making fake scenarios of bad things that could happen in the future. If they haven't happened yet, stop thinking about it, okay?
She's still up there, so.
Hello vlog, I'm streaming. I'm probably not this energetic for the rest of the vlog, but I am now. Alrighty. Hello buddy, how are you doing? It smells like summer outside today. I don't know what it is. It smells like planted celery or something like that. I love celery myself, and I always associate the smell of summer to celery, and so today was the first day where it actually smelled like celery outside, which tells me summer is coming. These are in fact the last days of spring, and today I'd like to talk about something that deeply touched me around a week ago, which I haven't really told anyone because I've been processing it, but I want to share it now. So over my morning smoke, don't comment on my eye bags. I had atrocious sleep today. I do not want to talk about it. Let's go. For context, I was followed by the same psychiatrist while I was growing up, ever since I was 15 to when I was 21. And the only reason why I stopped seeing him is because he retired. I felt really betrayed. I was also 21, still a little bit silly in the head, didn't understand the world didn't revolve around me, and my psychiatrist was kind of an old man, you know, worked all of his life. He deserved to retire. I'm past that. However, I did find his number at the back of my journal because he told me, keep my number, and in a few years, text me, we can schedule a consultation, talk to each other, see how things are going. And I said, okay. So I kept his number at the back of my journal. And I didn't remember I did that, but the other day, a couple weeks ago, I was scouting through my older journals to see what kind of things I had kept in there, and I found his number and I texted him and I said, hi, it's me, do you remember? I have a lot of things to tell you, would you like to schedule a consultation? And he was very excited, seemingly, through his messaging with lots of emojis. Maybe it's just because he's an older man and older men usually like emojis. I don't know, I like emojis as well. I'm not one to judge. And so we scheduled. There I went to Lisbon on my little public transportation trip, which I adore. I love public transport. And I talked to him. At the end, he told me, you know, you would give a really good psychologist. And this came out of nowhere. And I was kind of thrown back because being a psychologist was the first thing I ever really wanted to do. It was what I studied for when I was in high school, and then I went to psychology university, from which I dropped out after one semester because I was cooked in the head, as youngsters say these days. Never really gave any mind to it ever again. And I asked him, really? And he said, I'm good at de-escalating situations and giving advice, and I talk in a calm manner. And he just was giving me so many compliments. I didn't know how to take it. I feel like I was looking at him like, I don't know, I wish I had a mirror at that time. And that really just made me think if maybe the first thing I thought I'd like doing was correct and I should give it another try. But then I also asked him, am I not just setting myself up for unemployment? Because I know that there are a lot of unemployed psychologists out there these days. And he said, another thing that surprised me, he said, yeah, but a person like you will probably able to manage and like find a way to be able to give your powers to the world. He didn't say it like this, we were talking in Portuguese. I don't remember the exact way he said it, but he said I would manage. And now, ever since then, I've been thinking about it. I don't know if it's something maybe I should give a try to. I don't know if it's something that maybe I'd like to do right now or a little bit further in the future, in a year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows, there's time. But that really got me thinking, because I didn't think I would ever get that sort of compliment from someone who is so well understood in the area. I mean, he's one of the top psychiatrists in Portugal. He is the person who you probably would ask something like this, you know. I don't think he would ever say, no, you're not good for it, but maybe he would try to deviate the conversation. But I didn't even ask him, he just told me, which deeply confused me, because I haven't thought about the thought of being a psychologist for years, or a therapist, or some sort of helper, you know, in the mental health space. And he even said, because I talked about my channel, he even said, you know, you already kind of talk about these sort of things in your channel, you know, you give advice sometimes. And he said he watched some of my videos, which I was like, wow, that's cool, because when we were messaging, I told him just briefly what I was doing, and he then went on to check some of my videos. And he said that maybe it was a path that I could try and follow. But you know, after I dropped out of university, I thought that was a chapter closed for psychology. I thought that if I ever went back to university, it would be for something like sociology, philosophy, which is like, I love these humanities types of courses, and I know they are just a trap for unemployment, because, you know, people are really valuing the sciences like biology and IT and all of that. But maybe I just like to go there and learn, even if it's not going to take me anywhere job-wise. Maybe I'm going to acquire some illuminations that I wouldn't if I don't go. All this to say that I loved seeing him again. I loved having a conversation with him again. It felt just like how it felt when I was younger. I used to see him every week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, and so he was a very big part of my life. And just seeing him so happy to see me, he said I seemed to be so much better, because honestly, when I was seeing him before, I was in the trenches, and I didn't leave the trenches for all of the years in which I was seeing him. And so he really saw me suffer for a lot of years in a row, and he just seemed so happy for me. This could make me cry, because I am happy for myself as well. I think I've managed my way out of the trenches, even if just a little bit, but I feel like I'm further up now. Of course I could go back, but I feel like if I ever go back down there, I now have mechanisms to help me go up again. I don't know, only time will tell, right? But what a fantastic conversation that was. It gave me some new perspectives on things I thought were closed, and what magic really. Wow. Alrighty, I'll go about the rest of my day now. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit, and I'll see you on the next clip. I'm not going anywhere. You're not getting rid of me. Ha! I'll see you soon.
It's getting hard. We fall apart. Light goes too often. We're paralyzed. It's getting dark. The warmth isn't gone. All I belong.
Queres falar isso que Sim, já sei, giros. Mas isso não vai mais disso. Ah, é? Sim, mas por que eles fazem isso? E esta aqui, eu fiquei tipo fogo, ela coitada. Já isso.
Brum, 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 brum. I'm gonna spend all my spent a life breaking my promises, 'cause the ones that I offered were forced from my head. I've spent a life practicing caution, and I haven't often changed all my plans. You just come over and I watch you sit there and offer to hold me with you when I'm crying. I've learned to love better. Yippee! I've seen this. I'm gonna spend I've spent the year.
Olá malta, vamos jantar fora. O meu namorado está com vergonha porque estão pessoas a ver-me a gravar, mas eu já não sinto disso, portanto, bora lá, bora lá. O jantar estava muito bom, nós adoramos ir ao restaurante chinês. E agora vamos dar... Opa! Quase nos bateu, não faz mal, mais um dia aqui nas estradas de Portugal. Quase levámos com o carro, mas está tudo bem. E agora vamos dar um passeio de carro ao fim do dia. Estou muito feliz. Hello there friends, good morning. It is a little bit colder than I was expecting today, so I had to get in my car and grab my scarf. I just thought it would be a little bit warmer and I have just a t-shirt, so I'm glad I had this backup in the car. I'm going to be having my morning smoke before I do any work today, which I'm very excited for. Sometimes I have my smoke as post-editing present, sometimes I have my smoke as a pre-editing motivator or just enjoyment time. So let's do it. It is a very eventful morning today. I was expecting it to be a little bit calmer. It had just turned 9 AM, so it's 9:09. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. Yep, you cannot see anything. You'll just have to trust me there, buddy. It just turned to be 9. And because this is close to an area where people do a lot of sports, I think the 9 AM class probably has just arrived. It's a lot of people of different ages and they do different sports. There's kind of a sport place over there in that direction. I don't know how to say that in English, but I think you know what I mean. I'm still feeling very much asleep. Every time I wake up, I kind of wake up by surprise, but I feel like I'm dreaming. Totally fine. Inside of my dream, living my day, I have very vivid dreams. And then I wake up and I'm like, and it's not because I was having a scary dream, it's just because I feel like I'm being ripped out of my dream world and being put into the real world. So I always kind of wake up like, is that normal? I don't know. Well, it's probably not abnormal. It's just the way it is for me. But that's how I woke up. And so I'm still trying to realize that I am inside the real world now. I made a video about this, I think it was 2 years ago. It's called something like, I can't tell whether I'm awake or dreaming, something like that. My dreams have been like this for years and years now. I don't remember not having very vivid dreams. I go to sleep and I dream about a normal day. I don't dream of fantasy things or fantastical things. I never fly. I don't have superpowers. There's never a scary creature or an abnormal looking person, you know. It's always a normal day that I could perfectly be living in real life, but it's inside my dream. And so when this started happening more frequently, I started being a little confused. I couldn't really tell reality from dreaming apart because it's just so similar. Sometimes I would tell people in my dreams things that I knew I had to tell them in real life. Oh, I have to schedule this thing with this person, or I have to give this information to this person. And I would do that in my dream, and then in real life I wouldn't. And so I'd be like, how didn't you know we had scheduled for this time? And they were like, we didn't schedule anything. And I started being very confused. I was like, what do you mean we didn't schedule anything? I'm pretty sure we did. I remember vividly telling you, but I didn't. And so I started journaling about my dreams and keeping track of what I'm doing inside of them, so that I know that I still have some things I have to do in real life. It was very confusing. Now I've come to terms with it. One thing that is fantastical that sometimes happens in my dream is that I see people that are no longer alive. So a friend of mine that passed away, my grandma, sometimes I have a day in my dream where I hang out with them, and then I wake up feeling very sad because it was so vivid. It could have really happened in real life. I don't know how to stress enough that these things that I feel and I see and I do in my dreams are so vivid that they could perfectly have happened in real life, but they didn't. And so sometimes I do get a little bit sad in those situations, but I'm happy I still get to hang out with them and see them in my dreams, I suppose. But you know, I used to be very afraid of my dreams because I never knew who I was going to encounter. Would I wake up sad the next day? Would I feel very stressed? Because sometimes I have dreams in which I work for the whole day and then I wake up feeling super tired and I have to wake up and go do my things for the real life, you know, and I don't feel like I have the energy because I feel like I've just spent all of it in my dream. It is what it is. Some people don't have the privilege of dreaming every day. I do, so I'm grateful for that, but sometimes it gets confusing and tiring. And now I'm going to go spend the morning editing and planning the video that I'm making, so I'm really excited to that. I'm really excited about that. That's what I meant. Let's do it. I have to go get some things from the grocery, which means you have to go get some things from the grocery with me. So let's do that. Got lactose-free milk because my dad is lactose intolerant, and then also got some bread. Let's make my coffee. Eles vêm?
Então, olha.
Não, mas
só tudo. Tipo, sei. Teriyaki sauce. Bom apetite. Era mesmo isto que me apetecia para o almoço. Massa. A ferver. Como se já não tivessem 30 graus lá fora. Este limão está espetacular. Oh meu Deus.
Hello, buddy. For the last few days, me and the word buddy have been getting strangely close. I don't know what it is, but I've just been feeling like saying it a lot, and I don't even think I saw it somewhere or heard it somewhere. I don't know what it is. It's the beginning of the afternoon. Well, it's almost 6 p.m, so it's kind of the middle of the afternoon, or the end of it. Where does the afternoon end? I don't know. The more I edit this video, the more confused I get about where it's going to end. I don't know where it's going, but I'm having a fun time, so that's what matters. Today we're going out for dinner again, which never happens. We never go out for dinner twice in a week, let alone twice in a row. So we're going with a friend of ours and his girlfriend, and it's going to be very fun. And up until then, I'm going to read a bit, because I didn't read very much this morning and I'd like to read a little bit more. And I'm going to keep editing, see if I find... I had a vision at the beginning, but the vision got blurred, and now I'm doing a lot more things than what I thought I was doing initially. This video wasn't even supposed to go on this channel. This was supposed to be a mini vlog for my second channel, but then I was like, I had that first initial footage of me going to Lisbon, and I just thought, no, I want to show this to everyone on the main channel, because the second channel for me is more like a fun little project where I just try different things, and this is different for this channel too, but I don't know, I felt like making something bigger out of it. I've been noticing that I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself with each project or each video that I release, and I'm constantly doubting myself in my abilities, thinking I can't do this, I'm not capable. And it's the same conversation I was having the other day with you guys about just going outside when these thoughts start appearing. So that's what I did. It doesn't take you anywhere, you know. I tell this to myself, and best thing to do when you start having these random bad thoughts about yourself is just do something to cut the chain, cut the train, thought train or thought process or whatever it is. And then I've been practicing saying things to myself such as, and this feels very unnatural to me yet, so I am capable, I have the skill set to do whatever I want to do. If I don't have it, I am able to learn it. I am capable of acquiring the information I need to be able to do the things I want to do. So basically just switching the bad talk to something positive and nice, which, as I said, feels super unnatural because I've never done it before. It's something that I've been implementing for the past months. But this is the way I feel like I should be talking to myself, you know? Instead of always putting myself down, immediately trying to switch it to something positive. And so, as unnatural as it may feel now, one day, if I keep doing it consistently, I hope I can turn it into the way I speak to myself always. Always giving myself grace and allowing myself to know that I will be able to do whatever I want to do. Which, to me right now, feels a little bit cringe. It feels cringe to tell myself these positive things because it doesn't feel natural, but it's going to lead to a better result, so I'll do it. I'll do it. Cigarette is over, and let's have a great rest of our afternoon before we go out to dinner. Let's do it.
Ok, não foi assim tão excitante. Foi giro. Vamos jantar Smash Burger.
Smash Burger?
Smash Burger, espero que seja um 10 de 10. Qualquer coisa abaixo de 10 de 10 eu não vou ficar contente.
Smash Burger?
Smash Burger.
Você está com fome?
Estou com muita fome.
Eu tenho alguma fome.
Eu depois trago as minhas conclusões.
Muito bem. Obrigado pelo Smash Burger.
Nada.
Uau! Batatinhas. Pois, vento vai dar tudo. Coca-Colas.
Olá!
Olá! Bem-vindos ao vlog. O que é que estás a fazer?
Ok, vlog, vamos ver se é um de 10 de 10. Se não for um 10 de 10 eu vou chorar. Vou ficar muito triste, portanto... Eu já vos digo a minha opinião que eu não gosto de comer à frente da câmara, desculpa. Yummy!
Também está a acontecer.
Vim fazer o update do jantar. Será que foi um 10 de 10? Drum roll. Foi um 10 de 10. Estou muito contente, já não tenho fome e estou feliz com a minha amiga Cláudia e os meus amigos Suzuki, Paul. Tchau! Bye!
Está a gravar?
Bora.
Não sei se ela gravou ou não, eu estava a tentar não rir, mas agora estou com a música. Música, não toca nisso.
Outfit check! Já que foi desta? Ficou?
Então, se já está lá,
Eu não gosto de cair.
já está ali tipo coisas. Oh, eu já provei um por acaso.
By the lakeside, where fairies come out at night. There's a music box in the bedroom. It's playing songs from 1922.